Hi, fifth grade. I'm going to be doing a new sort of math lesson for today. We'll see how this works. And what we're going to be doing is you're going to be watching this video, learning about lesson 10, which is area models with decimals. And then you're going to work on the problem set and then the homework set. I'm doing this because I'm hoping that if you work really fast, you can move kind of fast through this. And if you work a little bit slower and you need extra help as you go along, I can come around and help you out as you're doing this video. So what's going to happen is that I have 3 different rules for doing these videos. The first one is that you have to follow along on either your desk or on your notebook. So just like whenever I would teach math up on the board and you would have to follow along on your own desk or in your own notebook, you need to be doing the same thing right now. So if I ask you to write an area model or write a standard algorithm and solve, then you should be doing that on your own desk. There'll be points where I'll tell you, pause the video, do this problem, and then replay the video and then see what the answer is. You'll be doing that throughout the videos. Then if you have any questions, you need to please ask. That is rule number 2. So let's say you're working on a problem that I gave you and you don't understand the problem at all. That's fine, but you just need to raise your hands, and myself or if Ms. Munoz is in here, they'll come over and we'll help you out with any questions that you might have or give you extra examples if you need them. And then for rule number 3, you need to actively listen to these videos. So if we are giving you a video and it's on lesson 10, then you need to be actively listening on about that, because we want to make sure that you're understanding area models with decimals. If you're playing with things on your desk, or if you're just kind of zoning out and then just putting in random answers as the answers pop up, that's not really going to help you understand what area models with decimals is all about. So please make sure you're listening and you're engaged in the video and trying to answer those problems and doing work on your desk or your notebook. All right, with that, so we're going to get started with Module 2, Lesson 10. So the first problem that we're going to look at is 43 times 2.4. So normally our problems are first written out like this, and we need to first write this in an area model. So what I'm going to do is it's very similar to what we've been doing. I am going to draw my box for my area model, and then on the side, on the left side, I'm going to take my first factor and I'm going to write that in expanded form. So the expanded form of 43 is 40 plus 3. Remember, I start with the smaller place value first, so I do 3 plus 40. And then at the top, this is where it gets a wee bit different. So right here, I have 2.4. Now, what is the decomposed version of 2.4? That would be 24 tenths. I have 2 and 4 tenths, or 24 tenths altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the expanded form of the number 24, and then that is what's going to be at the top of my area model. So I'm going to erase this problem right here. And the expanded form of 24 is 20 plus 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it just the way it is at the top. So what is different about this is that I'm not starting with the smallest number first. I'm starting with the bigger number, and I'm working my way to the smaller number. So instead of having 4 plus 20 like we normally would, we're doing 20 plus 4 instead. The reason why I'm doing that is because at the end of this, I'm going to write the unit tenths. So I have 20 and 4 tenths. Push this closer so you can see everything that I'm doing. It's 20 and 4 tenths. So I make sure I have those units on there so that I can understand what units my answer is going to be in when I finally do get it. So I take the expanded form of 2.4, make it 24, and then tenths. And then remember, you draw your lines wherever you need them at the plus signs. And then after that, I need to then multiply. So when I'm multiplying, remember, I take my finger here, take my finger here, bring them together, and I do 20 times 3, and I put that answer in that first box. So 20 times 3 is 60. And then 3 times 4 is 12. And then 20 times 40 is 8 times 2, or 4 times 2, which is 8. And then I add those 2 zeros, 1, 2. After that, we need to do 4 times 40. So 4 times 4 is 16. And I have 1 0 to add. I now have my partial products, but I need to then add these up and then add up to get my final answer. So 60 plus 12 is 72, and 80 plus 160 is 960. Now, me adding these up like this is a little bit different from what you're used to as well. Normally in class, we would add up going like this and just adding up these two numbers down here and then adding up these two numbers down here. But we're going to change it up just a little bit, and I'll show you why when we do the standard algorithm. So I have 72 plus 960. I'm going to add these up, and when I add these up, change that around a little bit. So I have 960 plus 72. I add them up, and I get 1,032. But is my answer 1,032? Don't forget about this tenths up here and the tenths right here. So it's not that I have 1,032, it's that I have 1,032 tenths. And now I need to write this unit form number in standard form. So remember, if I have 1,032 tenths, this 2 needs to be in the tenths place. So if I were to do that, my decimal would go right there, so that my 2 is now in the tenths place. And that is your final answer. Now I need to do the standard algorithm for this as well. So I'm going to erase what I have over here, and we're going to do the standard algorithm for this problem. So we have 43 times 2.4. I'm going to go ahead and start multiplying. So 3 times 4 is 12. Here is 1. I leave the 2. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17. Then I add a 0. I do 2 times 3, which is 6. And 4 times 2, which is 8. As you can see, these kind of match up with our partial products from the area model, and now I need to add everything up. So 2 plus 0 is 2, 7 plus 6 is 13, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 8 is 10. Again, I get the answer of 1,032, but remember, it is not 1,032. You still have this decimal right here, and your decimal is just going to go straight down and make your answer 103.2. Now, I'm going to be writing a new problem up on the board, and what I want you to do is, after I have the problem written up, you're going to pause this video, you're going to try to make your own area model, then you can unpause the video and see what I did and see if your work matches up, and then I'll have you pause the video again one more time to do your standard algorithm and see if you got it right then. So I'm going to erase this right here. If you're following along with me, go ahead and erase what you have as well. And we're going to take a look at a new problem, which is 3.5 times 42. Now I'm going to flip-flop these factors so that I have my decimal seconds, because it's a little bit easier when I have my decimal as my second factor. So I'm actually going to be doing 42 times 3.5. So 42 times 3.5. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to pause your video and you are going to set up an area model for 42 times 3.5. So please do that now. Seriously. Tap, tap, pause it. All right. After that, you should have restarted the video now and you have your area model totally finished. And if you have any questions during this part, you can always raise your hand and ask any questions. But I'm going to show you what our area model is supposed to look like. So I start with drawing my box, and then I take my first factor, 42, and I write that in expanded form. So 42 in expanded form is 2 plus 40. For my whole numbers on the left side, I'm still going to keep it with the smallest number first to the biggest number. Then at the top, I have 3.5. I'm going to decompose 3.5 into how many tenths? 35 tenths. So it should look like that. And then I'm going to take the expanded form of the number 35. So the expanded form of 35 is 3 tenths, so 30, and 5 ones, so 5. So 30 plus 5. I'm going to take this expanded form that I just wrote, and put that at the top of my area model. Remember, it's a little bit different because I'm not starting with the small number first. I'm just writing just the regular way expanded form for that. Oops, there's my marker. After that, we then need to write the units that go along with this. So it's not that I have 30 plus 5, I have 30 plus 5, 10. So write that right there. And then I can draw my lines where my plus signs are at, and I can start multiplying. So in this box, remember, I'm going to take this number times this number and do 30 times 2, which is 60. Or I can think of that as 3 times 2, which is 6, and then add the 0. For my last box, I do 2 times 5, which is 10. In my box right here, I do 30 times 40. 3 times 4 is 12. And then I add 2 zeros. After that, I need to multiply for this box. So I do 5 times 40. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I have one more 0 to add. And now I need to add everything up. So again, going this way, I'm going to add everything up so that my partial products match my standard algorithm. So I have 60 plus 10, which is 70. And then 1,200 plus 200, which is 1,400. Now, if you get to this part and you don't know how to add everything up in your head, remember, you can always set up a standard algorithm off to the side. So if I didn't remember what 1,200 plus 200 is, I can come over here and set up a standard algorithm to figure out the answer to that. So 0, 0, 4. And there we go. And there you go. That would be my answer to that little addition problem right there. Now back to this, I can start adding all of my partial products up to get my final answer. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 7 plus 0 is 7, 4 plus nothing is nothing, and 1 plus 1 is just 1. So your answer should be 1,470. But remember, you still have the units that go along with that. So it's not that you have 1,470, it's that you have 1,470 tenths. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to make sure that this 0 is in the tenths place, and my final answer is 147. I'm going to show you the standard algorithm now. This is where you need to pause the video if you haven't already done your standard algorithm. Pause it, do the standard algorithm, and then if you had any questions about this area model, maybe you did something different from me, please ask me if you have any questions on this. So pause the video, do the standard algorithm, and then replay when you have that finished. So I'm going to get started on the standard algorithm now. So I am going to have, since I flip-flopped these the first time, I'm going to keep them flip-flopped. So I'm going to have 42 on top times 3.5. You'll get the right answer either way. It's just that your partial products from the area model might not add up to these. So I'm going to do 5 times 2, which is 10. 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 1 is 21. Then I add a 0. And then I do 3 times 2, which is 6. And then 4 times 3, which is 12. I'm then going to add all of this up. And again, I get 1,470. Okay, 1,470. And then I need to remember that these, like this is not 1,470. I have to bring my decimal straight down. And I didn't line that up very good. But my decimal should be right there again. So 147 is my complete answer. All right, go ahead and erase what you have on your desk. Unless you have any questions, please again, make sure you raise your hands and ask any questions that you might have. You're now going to move on to my last problem. And my last problem, I'm going to go get a better marker first. All right, so our next problem is going to be 73 times 15.6. That's nice and big, 15.6. So on your desk right now, I want you to show me the standard algorithm, or show me the area model for 73 times 15.6. Pause the video, please, and do that right now. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask. So you should have paused the video and now you have an area model on your desk or piece of notebook paper, and I'll show you what this should look like. So again, I draw my box. And then off to the side, I'm going to take my first factor and write that in expanded form. So I have 73, and that's going to be 3 plus 70. At the top, I have 15.6. And remember, I need to decompose this number first. So I have 156 tenths. 156 tenths. So it's kind of like, remember, I take away that decimal, I read that number, and then think about what place value is that last number in. So that's tenths. I have 156 tenths. So I need to write 156 now in expanded form. So I have 1 in my hundreds place, so that's 100 plus 50 plus 6. And this is all going to go at the top of my area model. You're able to figure that all out on your own. Awesome job. Give yourself a kiss on the burn. And then make sure you get that at the top. And then remember, don't forget your units right next to the top expanded form number. So you have 100 plus 50 plus 6 tenths. Now I need to put in my lines. Put in your lines. And then we can finally start multiplying. So at the top box right here, I have 100 times 3, which is 300. Then I have 50 times 3, so think of that as 5 times 3, which is 15 with a 0 added. And then 3 times 6, which is 18. I then have to do 70 times 100, so 7 times 1 is 7. And then I add 1, 2, 3 zeros, because there are 1, 2, 3 zeros. I now need to do 70 times 50, so 70 times 50 is 7 times 5 is 35. And then I add 2 zeros. After that, I do 70 times 6, so 7 times 6 is 42. And then I add my 0. My next step is to add up everything in my top row and then add up everything in my bottom row. So I'm going to start doing that now. So my first step will be to do 300 plus 150 plus 18. So I do 0 plus 0 plus 8, 5 plus 1, which is 6, and 3 plus 1, which is 4. So I have 468 so far. And then for this row right here, I have 7,000 plus 3,500 plus 420. I'll add up all my zeros, which is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then 7 plus 3 is 10. So 10,920. I need to take these two numbers now and add those two up. So I do 10,920 plus 468. And I get 0 plus 8 is 8. 2 plus 6 is 8. 9 plus 4 is 13. I carry the 1, I leave the 3. 1 plus 0 is 1. And 1 plus nothing is 1. Now, my answer, though, is 1,000, not 11,388. It's 11,388 tenths. So if that is my answer in unit form, I now need to figure out what is my answer in standard form. So remember, this 8 needs to be in my tenths place. So if my 8 is in my tenths place, that means that my decimal is right here, because then this 8 has to be my ones. And my answer is 1,138.8, or 1,138 and 8 tenths. Now, if you got this right, awesome job. If you did not, that is totally fine. You just need to raise your hand and ask a question if you have it. Now we're going to work on the standard algorithm for this problem. So I'm going to show you how to set that up. So I'm going to erase the work that I have so far. And we're going to do the standard algorithm I'm going to do, I'll do 15.6 at the top times 73, just so I don't have as many numbers that I have to multiply. But please remember that your decimal is right there. Don't forget about your decimal. and then I'm going to start multiplying. If you didn't already do your standard algorithm, please make sure you pause this video, do the standard algorithm, and then press play to check in to see if you got the answer correct. So I do 6 times 3, which is 18. Carry the 1. I leave the 8. I do 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 1, which is 16. Carry the 1. I leave the 6. 3 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Then I have to add a 0 because I'm multiplying a number that is in the tens place. I do 7 times 6, which is 42. So I carry the 4. I leave the 2. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 plus 4 is 39. So I cross out that 4. Carry the 3. Leave the 9. And then I do 7 times 1, which is 7, plus 3, which is 10. And again, our partial products are very similar to what we have right here from our area model. And now I just need to add everything up. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus 9 is 13. I carry the 1. Leave the 3. 1 plus 0 is 1. And 1 plus nothing is 1. Again, I got to make sure I put my decimal in my answer or it won't be correct. So I bring that straight down. And my decimal will go right there. So my answer is 1,138.8 or 1,138 and 8/10. Now, if you have any questions about this, please make sure you raise your hands and I'll come around and help you or give you extra example problems for you to work on. If you feel good on all of this, then you are going to work on the problem sets. So the problem set for today is going to be on page 187. And you're going to do number 1, A, and B. You need to estimate before you do your answers, and then you can do your area models and multiply. These problems are very similar to last week's chapters as well. And then you're going to do number 2, A through D. And those should just be a standard algorithm, but you'll have to set up the problems because they'll be set up like these over here, but you need to set them up so that they are doing so that they are vertical. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you ask. And good luck on the problem set. If you have questions on that or need to check your answers, just check in with one of the teachers. Awesome job.